Now, how do you think this is all going to play on the screen? Because I can read this to make sure I actually have it. It's going to be called True Blood, right?
True Blood.
Not Southern Vampire.
No, True Blood. He wanted to name it, that's one of the brands of synthetic blood that's sold, that's enabled vampires to come out of the coffin.
Is that what they drink in the bar?
They drink True Blood, yes.
That's why she's warming up bottles instead of chilling them down?
That's right.
Okay.
They like it warm.
You've given this real thought, I'm pleased to say.
Well, you kind of have to. And it's also a good work avoidance device. Let me think of more things. But it's going to be called True Blood. And this time last week, I was on the set in Louisiana watching them film.
How exciting. And they're really doing it in Louisiana, not some soundstage near LA that's supposed to look like
Well, they're shooting most of it on a soundstage in LA. Wow. But they've come on location 2 or 3 times in Louisiana to shoot, and they will be more this summer, Alan tells me.
Who's been cast to play the various characters?
Well, Anna Paquin, Oscar winner Anna Paquin.
Oscar winner.
That sounds so good. Is playing Sookie, and a British actor named Stephen Moyer is playing Bill.
Okay.
And he does a really good Southern accent. An actor named Sam Trammell is playing Sam. And an actor named Chris Bauer is playing Andy Belfleur. Those are some I can think of right off. Oh, and Alexander Skarsgård, who has Sexiest Man in Sweden 3 years in a row, is playing Eric.
Oh, perfect. That's the Viking name for all this. So, does that feel a little unnerving to see people you wrote about and only saw in your head suddenly appearing in the flesh?
Yes, it is unnerving. Exciting, interesting, unnerving.
And, inevitably, my observation is, having seen other authors going through this, they become the spokespeople or the sort of living characters, and your fans, I think you're going to find, the actor becomes the real interpreter. It's really interesting to see that.
It's going to be a very different process for me, and I know it's going to be, the show is going to be very different from the books, because the books are all in the first person, and a TV show can't sustain that.
No, absolutely not.
So the subsidiary characters are going to be brought forward more, and they're going to get their own storylines, which I did not write. So that's going to be, it's going to be exciting.
I think it'll be good, and I also think that you have a good attitude for that, because you have been pretty pragmatic about, setting up series and, writing things that people will like and all. So I'm not sure that it will be as difficult for you as maybe some other authors.
I'm not a control freak.
Right.
Also, I had 3 offers on the table when Alan made his offer, and I went with the guy I thought really understood the books and what I was doing with the books, and had the wherewithal to do them justice.
Wow, what a nice luxury.
Yes, really, a really profoundly important luxury.
Absolutely. A lot of people, take the money and run and don't really.
Well, I'm taking the money and running, but he's so good.
But you get both.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's very exciting. The other thing I noticed that you mentioned on your website, which I thought was truly exciting, was how many languages you are now published in.
20. That was that my agents called it, I think, in January, and said our goal for this year is 20, and we've hit 18. But we've hit 20 now, so that's
I'm trying to envision the books in Korean, in Thai. I mean, I can see a lot of them, but you do have to wonder, with such a totally different culture, how that's going to play.
And you should see the covers.
Really?
Oh my gosh, you should see the different covers. It's just fascinating.
And you've also, in the middle of all of this productivity, done a lot of short stories. I mean, you're a person who's got works in various anthologies, and you're editing them and all. You seem to be endlessly creative.
Well, I'm endlessly busy. I hope that I'm creative, and I'm having such a good time.
Well, I can tell, and the last time I saw you before today, we were both in Anchorage, Alaska.
We were.
And you had this really nice looking young man with you in full military uniform, who is?
My son.
You must be so proud of him.
I am extremely proud of him. He is, I'm proud of all my children. He is our middle child, and He's in the Army in Alaska now. He will be out of the Army on June the 7th.
Well, you're not counting or anything.
He will be coming home, and I am just so excited.
Well, I think it's pretty dazzling that you have produced all these literary children, and you've raised 3 children of your own, and you still say that the most exciting thing for you to do is go down and root for your children at their various activities.
And that's absolutely the truth.
Well, I think that says a lot about who you are, kiddo. Thank you so much for coming to see us.
Thank you. It's always fun to come here, Barbara.
Well, thank you. And I thank all of you for joining us today for this episode of the Criminal Calendar.